Welcome to Narrator's Cut. Today we're going to show you a thriller supernatural movie called It Chapter 2. After 27 years, the Losers Club calls their buddy Mike Hanlon that Pennywise is returned. They vow to follow their commitment and return to their old town to kill the wicked clown for good. Watch out for spoilers and keep an eye on. The group kills Adrian Mellon in 2016 after a group of homophobic teens viciously beats him and his lover in Derry, Maine. It is Mike Hanlon, the lone surviving member of the Losers Club in Derry, who calls on the other members of the Losers Club, Bill Denbrough, Ben Hanscom, Beverly Marsh, Richie Tozier, Eddie Kasbrak, and Stanley Uris, to keep a vow they made 27 years ago to kill if it returns, except for Stanley, who commits himself because he is terrified of the beast. The others all have foggy recollections of their time in the past. Mike takes the losers to a restaurant where he refreshes their memories before breaking the news of Stanley's suicide to them. If they fail to kill it, Richie and Eddie resolve to depart until Beverly confesses that she has had psychic glimpses of their death if they do not succeed. Also responsible for a little girl named Victoria, who was lured into a trap during a baseball game. Mike demonstrates to Bill in the Derry Library, via a drug-induced vision, that the Native American ritual of Chud is capable of putting an end to it once and for all. Mike says that they must sacrifice artifacts from their history to compel the ritual. There have been several traumatic encounters with it, mainly in the form of Pennywise. Pennywise confronting Richie and telling him that he knows about his true sexuality. Beverly being attacked in her childhood home, Eddie being assaulted by the leper in the basement of a medicine shop. It is responsible for the release of Henley Bowers from a mental institution after he was arrested for the murder of his father. Meanwhile, Bauer continues his quest for the losers, savagely attacking Eddie in the Losers Hotel and then Mike at the library. Henry comes close to murdering Mike, but Richie prevents him from taking the life he craves. When the losers meet up with Bill, who had just failed to prevent a little kid called Dean from being devoured by it, they try to convince him out of fighting it alone at the Neighbolt house. When the gang has had 3 separate experiences with it, they descend into a cavern under the sewers, carrying out the ritual. Although the ceremony successfully confines the deadlights in a sealing jar, a gigantic red balloon arises from the jar and bursts, revealing it to be a spider with Pennywise's face. Pennywise finds out that the natives who were initially practicing the ceremony died because their fears overpowered them. He presses Mike into exposing a secret that Mike had kept concealed. In its attack on the losers, it imprisons Bill, Ben, and Beverly in separate traps, from which they only manage to escape after Bill confesses to it that it killed his younger brother Georgie, and Beverly realizes that Ben was the one who wrote her a love letter when they encountered it 27 years ago. Mike stands up to the thing only to be almost devoured by it, but Richie manages to divert its attention by becoming trapped into one of its deadlights while doing so. Eddie rescues him, but he is fatally stabbed in the chest as a result of his actions. They have an idea when Eddie recalls how he made it feel tiny earlier in the day. As a result of the loser's mockery, mocking and calling it numerous names, it physically shrinks in size. In the end, Mike and the losers murder it by ripping out its heart, which they then crush with their bare hands to death. The losers are forced to abandon Eddie, who has perished due to his injuries, while its cavern implodes, demolishing the Neighbolt house in the process. The surviving losers return to their old bathing spot to wish off the remnants of their fight with it, and they clasp their hands to console Richie, who is grieving the loss of Eddie in his grip. Its decline has also resulted into disappearance of the scars on their hands. Several events transpire following the losers' split. Ben and Beverly are married. Richie returns to the kissing bridge, where he once carved his and Eddie's name. Mike decides to leave Derry and start a new life, and Bill begins writing his new story, only to receive a phone call from Mike as he is about to leave Derry, informing him that Stanley had sent them all posthumous letter after his death. In the letters, it is revealed that Stanley was too afraid to confront it, and that his suicide was meant to boost his companion's resolve to face it. In his last message, he encourages the surviving losers to live life to the fullest potential. And that's it! Hope you enjoyed it, and please leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting movies to recap. Take care and see you at the next video!